the
Good
4th
day.
of July.
No,
Hello.
it's not.
That's
Almost
July. It's
4th
the
of
3rd
July.
of July.
It's like a few hours away from the 4th of July. So we're going to cover the history of the United States.
By
I thought we were
president.
doing presidents.
I thought.
President.
Wait. What?
Okay, we're
You're
doing
an
a
S.
generalized version of American history.
Yeah. It's going to be very good.
As a residential expert on the topic, I will be helping these idiots through this.
You watched a WikiHow video, right?
Yes,
I was
that's where I got my
say,
PhD.
You watched several
expert
WikiHow
might
videos.
be a strong word.
Okay, so it was like what? Like 1582, I think? About?
Okay, so yeah, it's around the 14th century.
Okay.
No, 15th century, because it's like it's one up. So, Britain.
Are years are you going by
Century doesn't
car
matter.
model? Yeah, it's like it was like 2008, right?
Okay, so we got this continent, right? And it was mistake, and for some reason Columbus thought it was India because he's a dumbass. Whoops,
We're
sorry.
not allowed to say that. I'm
Can't
gonna.
curse. That's right. Whoops. Edit that out. Anyway,
Oh yeah, I'll bleep that out in post.
so anyway, Columbus thought this was India. That's why Indians are named Indians. And France.
His GPS was
Spain,
broken, I believe.
yeah, the GPS broke on the way. So anyway, Britain found the continent as well. Like they learned of it. So then they made a colony called Roanoke, and then that disappeared. And then for some
They
reason they thought
lost it.
was a good idea. Well, it's like when you
The
lose.
Roanoke colony did not disappear for shit. The Roanoke colony
We still can't
might-
say swears,
Just
guys.
because I can't say
so
it, doesn't mean you
sorry.
can.
No one is allowed to say any naughty no-no words, okay?
You know, yes,
I
okay.
feel
Stop
very
being
strongly
poopy
about
heads.
So
this.
you know when you lose change, like you have like that quarter, and then like it disappears.
I'm adding a flag for
That's-
every swear word that you guys say.
That's a Britain in a
Okay, wait.
nutshell. They lost the entire city.
The Roanoke colony carved the name of a local Native American tribe into a tree, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, they kidnapped them!" But then that tribe started mysteriously having white children with blue eyes. They just integrated into that colony. They didn't disappear.
Yeah,
They were really good
it kinda
magicians.
There
explains
was no
itself.
disappearance.
I mean, they just
disappeared.
kind of left. They didn't even like leave a message or anything.
Well, to be fair, the guy didn't return for like a couple
Their
of years.
their
Yeah.
leader left for like multiple years with no word.
I know we all
Well,
watched the
just
Lamino
practice
video,
written.
so we're just gonna move on.
Anyway, moving on. So you got Jamestown, right? And they want to find gold. Gold's nice if you can
Shiny.
find it, which they did not find gold.
They tried. They tried.
They only brought gold finding equipment. You can put two and
Oof.
two together. So, you know, everybody's starving.
Yeah.
There's some Indians, right? And they trade with the Indians. And the Indians are cool, right? Like, you know, trade and all that. And then they start shooting them. And I don't think
Whoops.
people get happy when they start getting shot at.
Yeah, I don't think that happens very often. We should skip to the good part. July 4th, 1776. It was
Yeah.
a stormy July night, maybe.
Maybe.
They didn't have weather
Generalization.
back then. I'm setting the mood for a historical event.
So, the guys get. So, everybody's together, right? And they're like, British bad, right?
Yeah.
British bad. And so then they're like, you know, let's get this nation. And they sign the
This nation.
Constitution. And that's what the Constitution happens.
Yeah, they were like, wait, it was July 4th? That was, when did the Revolutionary War happen? And other questions Americans should be asking themselves.
I think it was a couple of years after 1776.
Was it?
I know history and
Just
I
a
don't even
couple.
know.
Okay, you
You
know,
know
new
history,
house
though.
rule, we're not allowed to use Google for this historical summarization.
Look.
Great.
I specialize in the European history, not American history, even though I'm American.
Okay, so next I think
You know,
they were
as
like
many
some
Americans
dudes, they were
do.
chilling, Boston. They were like, yo, I hate tea, like, so much.
No, they liked tea, but
Oh,
the British hated them.
Ah, yeah, and then they were like, yo, you know what stamps are? You gotta pay extra for those now, buddy. Bucko.
And turns out people don't like paying for stuff, for
Paying
stamps.
for stuff sucks.
So then
Steal.
they,
Still.
so then all those hard-worked slaves that gathered that tea in India. All their work gets wasted when a bunch of dudes dressed up as Indians, they cosplayed that night.
It was
And
cosplay night.
it was cosplay night in Boston, and it's like they see all this tea, like, I'm pretty angry. I'm going to make a bunch of tea. And then they made a bunch of tea in the harbor.
Did they forget to boil the water?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, the British kind of got involved, and then, they couldn't boil it in time.
Ah,
Amazing how the British didn't like it, though. You think
They
they'd be
had
all
a
about it.
plan to pour a crap ton of gunpowder into the lake. But then the British came.
why would you?
That's a complete lie, don't believe me.
Yeah.
Don't believe any
You
of
know,
this.
no, we're just gonna.
Take this all
You're
with a
gonna
grain of
throw in
salt.
random historical facts that are just not true. Just like, this is actually when George Lucas was born. It's like August 18th, 1752. This calls for another American flag.
So,
One of us swore.
then we made the Constitution, right?
Yeah, everyone liked that.
Remember, this is the only time the French never surrendered. They actually helped us, so thanks to the French, we are now free.
Yeah, you know the guys who
So-
made the mustard? Yeah.
Thank your local baguette man.
If you hear any explosions in
that's
the background, it's
mildly
just
insensitive.
American ambience. That's just what it sounds like every night here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all
If you want the real experience, go down to Detroit.
Yeah.
I can say that, right?
You're allowed to just that's
That-
it's
that's
an American
probably-
pastime.
Detroit's kind of nice.
No.
When you're not being shot at. Anyway, the car industry.
We're just skipping all the way to the automobile.
Okay, look, I love
Have
the
you ranked a
car
single
industry.
president?
It's so cool.
Benjamin Franklin. F tier.
He had syphilis.
Wasn't even president.
What had syphilis? No deal. So, oh man, I kind of do want to talk about the car industry, but
Get there,
we'll get to that
We
eventually.
gotta
We'll get-
stretch this out, man.
Yeah, we gotta stretch it out. So, Benjamin Frank.
Yeah.
He was pretty frank about stuff.
Okay, well, first off, they were like, hey, King George, please don't be mean to us. And he was like, I can't read.
Well, he was pretty inbred, I'm not gonna lie. So he kind of went insane, and having somebody insane rule half the world, it's not a good idea.
I don't know, it worked pretty well for.
Finish that sentence.
Canada?
So anyway,
This calls for a flag. Alright, we start. I think we're at the start. They're like, the Battle of Lexington and Concord, go.
alright, bunch of angry farmer dudes. They like line up in rows, and then a bunch of angry British dudes. They line up in slightly better rows, and
But one of them gives a crap and the other one doesn't, so like.
yeah. But then I don't know who shot the shot heard around the world.
Also,
I
that
only
was
heard,
a
like-
very loud shot to be heard around the world.
Yeah, I mean,
Pretty
I
thick.
bet the Japanese. I don't know if
Fired
they
a
were-
bowling ball.
the Japanese are like.
It's just a cannon.
There's a dude in Antarctica who's like, whoa.
The
That's the start of the
Vietnamese
Bruh.
are planning. So, shot heard around the world. And we don't know who shot it, but I guess it's okay. Like, you really want to be known as the guy that started a war.
I'd
Sorry.
want to be known as the guy who started the American Revolutionary War.
That's a great title.
Yeah.
You sound pretty cool that way.
Yeah, I started. So, shot heard around the world. Surprisingly, a bunch of farmers beat like the biggest military in the world. don't know how that happens.
Yeah.
But big sack Britain.
And then they fought for a little bit, and then America wins.
Yay!
And then everything was
See-
fine forever and ever.
You see, we figured out. What if you didn't just stand in a line, and you hid in cover and shot the enemy?
They were like,
I'm
yo,
crazy tactics.
what if we stood behind a wall? Or a tree? Or a bush? And Britain said no. Please don't. And then we did.
No, you can't do that. That's not honorable.
Anyway, skipping ahead a few years, oh yeah, there's slaves in some of the states, and there's slaves not in some of the states, or at least legally not allowed. And some people are like, yes,
And
slavery.
it's causing a lot of issues.
And some people are like, no slavery. And then somebody
Those are
stabbed
called the
Kansas.
abolitionists. So, you have these
And the
slave
black
states,
people are
right?
like, hey, can I be free, please?
You have all
And
these.
the South says no. Absolutely not.
You have all these Well, you have all these landowners in the South which who think they're Chads, but they're not, and they have all these slaves. And slavery is not cash money, but the North doesn't have slaves.
Yeah, let's take a solid stance on that. Slavery is not good.
Ooh, that's controversial.
Slavery is bad.
We're gonna
So-
add a flag for that.
So,
We're up to flag 10, by the way.
so
Oh,
No.
it's cut me off. I'm not allowed to anymore.
slavery is bad. I almost said good there. It's bad.
Slavery bad.
The slavery bad. But then, what if we had a new state, right? And so like, we'll just democracy out of this.
Yeah.
And so they said, whoever votes in that state, who's gonna say votes, they can vote whether they want to have slaves or not. Potato. Eventually, there's a whole entire thing called the Bleeding Kansas. A bunch of people die, and is
There's this crazy dude who's like, I really don't like slavery. He kind of
And
goes
so-
nuts.
and he arms his. It's like 20 children. This
I-
man had a ton of
Yeah,
kids.
and then he's like,
you know, as you do.
and
he
he's
had
like, yeah, we could
swords.
take a military base. He played too much Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, no, he armed them with swords too. He had a giant long sword.
He gave
that
them
he-
swords to raid on.
Yes, he had swords.
And his plan was something
Swords
like,
are cool, man.
swords are not cool when you're fighting a gun.
Also,
So
on the presidential list, put Harriet Tubman in S tier.
My favorite president.
got stuck in a tub.
I love Harriet Tubman a lot.
You know, we're gonna add James A. Garfield, B tier. Anyways, moving on.
Moving on. So there starts this whole war, right? Because we try to compromise a couple of times, but the compromises ain't working. So we just kind of said, screw it. We'll just shoot each. Well, no, the South said screw it, and they said we'll just shoot at the military. That can't go wrong.
And they were like, we'll
went
win this
wrong.
war immediately. And then the North went, we'll win this war immediately.
And then they didn't.
And
Also,
And they were both wrong.
so people think the war is going to be over quick, right? And so let's just have a nice Sunday brunch at the battlefield.
yeah, just, you know, picnic in the demilitarized zone.
So they gather their
I guess
picnic
militarized.
picnic items, and they're like, let's have a nice little picnic. And they just watched a bunch of people shoot each other in lines. And then, the North lost.
And they say entertainment is boring.
Yeah, the North kind of lost. And then it got kind of dicey because they tried to retreat. They had to retreat through civilians. Oh yeah, this guy that was a senator. There was actually a senator there. Got his carriage blown up by a cannon shot. shell,
Nice.
so he had to
My
go back
car.
to Washington. Yeah, he had to go back on a mule.
I hope he had insurance.
Didn't have Safe
Car
Auto.
insurance.
Safe Auto, a car parts store.
So, eventually, a bunch of years go by.
Uh,
6, I think. Well, 6.
I thought it was 4.
May have just been 4.
Well, we're
But-
not googling it. Anyway, Safe Auto, yes, that's an insurance company. We're allowed to Google that.
So a bunch of years go by, fighting. Then there's this cool dude named Grant, right? He freed his slave, and Well, he only had ever had one, but still, he freed it. And he's a really cool dude.
I found a
He
different
actually
American flag gif.
nice. So Grant's actually a really cool dude. He actually
Ulysses S.
wasn't. Yeah, Ulysses S. He actually wasn't a drunk. He was very smart and tactical. And the only reason why he has so many bad myths about him is because people just had a needed somebody to blame for stuff. They blame.
Yo, you're kind of quiet. Can anyone else like not hear him?
I can hear him.
Okay.
I turned him up to 200%, but like I
Might
can
just be
hear it.
me.
I
Might be on my end.
I'm just gonna turn you up a little.
So Grant, real cool dude.
And then the North wins.
The North wins. Slavery
10 out of 10
bad,
die.
but
And the
then
issue
not
of
really.
racism was never brought up again.
Yeah, but not really. So
Yay.
we got rid of like outward slavery, but then the problem was
Then they
then
created the prison system.
well somebody got shot in the head. I won't name names. Lincoln. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so Lincoln gets got, which isn't very good.
Yeah.
And
He goes, ow.
and then he kind of just dies. Which in fact he died in the hotel, like right next to the street. Like the street over.
That would
So
suck. Imagine you're dying, you're in a Super 8.
yeah,
I'd be
basically
like,
the Super 8.
"D-
You're the president
please
of
drag
America.
me into the road.
Maybe a cart will finish my misery.
They
So
can't break.
yeah, he dies, and then they had this really cool idea called Reconstruction, right? And they wanted to rebuild the South. And you know, a free South, because all the freed slaves. Instead, the Democratic Party, which had a lot of control back then down there, actually did this one thing, which was like slavery, but not really, called sharecropping. So basically,
Yay.
you work on somebody's land. They take all of the crops and they pay you like worse than minimum wage.
Woo.
So yeah, that kind of happened and then there's the whole segregation issue.
Yeah.
And moving on,
The automotive
Uh,
industry.
the Industrial Revolution. This
Some
is
guy
my
was
favorite
like,
topic.
Steam.
Steam press.
I thought you said we were having steamed clams.
Regional dialect. So that's
This dude,
copyright.
he's in Britain. They've got a lot of manufacturing. They're like, we like thread. We really, really
Really
thread.
like thread.
So they're
we
like,
have to-
nobody can have our thread recipe. Nobody gets to have it. This dude gets it. He
Yeah, he
literally,
gets
he big brains it and memorizes the entire thing, hops onto a boat, and goes to Freedom Land. And he's like, here's how you do it. I don't know what happened to him. Did anyone know what happened to that guy?
I
mean,
believe
he's-
he
I
went
think he's
to.
dead.
No!
I think he went to. I think he just disappeared from history. Actually.
It's just left.
Yeah, he just left.
He dipped.
Left the server without a notice.
So he brings back like all these cool blueprints, right? And they're like, oh man, we can build stuff. That's pretty cool. And so they start building a bunch of stuff, right? But then they don't realize that workers need rights and all that. But yeah, that's a later subject. So they start building a ton of factories.
I
a
think
lot
we've
of
gone back
factories.
in history a little bit.
Too many factories. And there's a lot of factories. The air quality in cities wasn't the best, but
They
I mean,
they got these. They invented Febreze in giant cans to solve that problem.
exactly. And
Let's see if I can't find a third American flag.
so then they start making unions, right? And the unions are like a great idea. Because,
Everyone's like, this is cool. Well, almost everyone.
then the communists ruin it. But that's a far, way later in history. But anyway, so the people who own these companies, they get super powerful, way too powerful.
They even can
Really?
control the president.
Yeah, they decide who gets to be president.
Fun.
Which, that seems corrupt. That's because it is. So
Whoops.
people are like wondering, this isn't really cool. What are we going to do about this? So then they're like, let's just strike, right? Or that's where they don't work.
Yeah.
And people start doing that.
My phone is on
So
strike
there's
right
these,
now.
so there's these guys called the Pinkertons, right?
Yeah.
Which is founded by a guy who's
Wasn't it
who,
like Joseph Pinkerton or something?
yeah, he was a barrel maker in Scotland.
Mr.
And
Pinky.
Mr. Pink.
yeah, well, he had to run away from the multiple warrants he had on him
Oh.
because he was kind of a criminal and all that. But he was a good criminal because he was a unionist
Yay.
who then started an investigation thing to investigate railroad employees to stop theft, right?
Yeah.
And then he turned into this thing called a strike buster, who is somebody who beats up people in the name of the company to get them to go back to work. And so,
Doesn't that
there's a
very
giant-
union to me?
yeah, no, he wasn't. So, yada yada yada. Bunch of people die. Like 3, I think. No, it was like 14 strikers and like 3 Pinkertons. People die, and then the government's like, maybe we shouldn't, be doing this to people. And so then they created unions, and the Industrial Revolution kind of like halted a bit, but like still was there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I think
And
the screen is sufficiently patriotic. I will share it with you all.
then there's the car industry, which the moment we figured out what a supply line was
We were like,
and like
yeah.
production
Yes.
lines,
That's
yes,
super patriotic.
money. So then we started
I
making
think
lots
it needs more.
So
It
You
needs
s-
some pizzazz.
so there was this
Is
steak.
this not pizzazz to you?
No.
Add glitter.
Yes.
So there's this state called Indiana, right?
Yeah.
And they actually had a chance to get the car industry boom. And freaking Michigan took it from them, right? Because Michigan actually had lax law regulations than Indiana.
I hate you, Michigan.
Yeah. So, I mean, it could have been a different time or place or something. But no, Michigan got it.
Michigan.
And now you see how they're doing. But anyway, so we make a bunch of cars. We teach people how the cars. The only 2 cars in Chicago crash.
I thought it was Ohio.
No, I think it's in Ohio. I think it was in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, there were 2 cars in the state of Ohio, and they ran into each other.
And they ran into
Is that
each other.
pizzazz enough for you guys?
Yeah, that's pizzazz enough.
That's pretty pizzazz.
Hmm.
Elaney is not convinced.
Okay, hang on. I found
Hmm.
something that's pretty pizzazzy. Are you ready for this? I really hope this is actually transparent. Oh, good, it is. Oh, goody.
Okay. I think we've summarized. I don't think we're getting anywhere
Whoa,
with the
So much
summarization of
pizzazz.
America.
I think we're going places.
We're going places, but we should do okay. Let's have somebody think of a top. Oh my god, that's a lot of pizzazz.
It's the perfect amount of pizzazz.
Okay, let's somebody ask a topic. Like somebody say a topic in South America, and we.
Yeah, let's just
Reagan.
pick a year where nothing really happened. 1917.
Lots of things happened that year.
May that's nothing happened in 1917.
There was like, I think there was like a minor conflict.
Very minor border.
Yo.
People in the street had a mild disagreement.
Yeah, there was like, I don't really like cheese on bagels, and someone went, I kind of like cheese on bagels.
And that was it. That was the only
And
conflict.
then
between
people were wondering why
1917.
a bunch of ships were disappearing out in the ocean all the time.
You like this? Like,
So,
That's
jokes
just a
aside,
mushroom cloud.
1917,
I just
World War
exploded.
One. America did take part during 1917 in the year because it was at the very end. We sent like a couple thousand men, but we'd never get there till like 1918.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were supplying. the
And
British with
demanding.
things. Yeah,
Very demanding.
Supply and demand, baby.
Too
Lots of money.
demanding.
I want to let you guys know I have to delete every single one of these images manually when we're done recording this.
Um, you brought this upon yourself, Grayson.
I'm aware.
So, yeah, I mean, we took part in World War One. You know, thanks to World War One, we got a lot of cool stuff.
There might
Like-
be too much on this screen.
No, I mean,
We
It-
got the
okay, it didn't get-
gramophone.
I mean, like everybody served. The Philippines. Oh, the Philippines is funny. They actually sent men over to fight in the American units because they wanted to get their country back. So, the Philippines was under Spanish rule. They had a bloody revolution to get away from Spanish rule. Then America comes in with $20 million. It's like my country.
I feel like we're approaching peak patriotism, right?
It's not midnight yet.
There's no guns.
Oh, you're
Right.
right.
I get my R's in there.
We need football
Oh yeah.
and pie.
And hot dogs and hamburgers.
I don't.
Anything that will cause you.
Pie isn't
major
very
health
American.
issues.
Here's a
I don't
fat
know if
guy
he's
doing
gonna
a
listen
football
to us.
dance.
Fine.
You poor
How
viewers
about
are
a
like
McFlurry?
listening to us.
For,
Why are you even listening to this?
congratulations, you've made it
Won't
26
do
minutes
if
in.
anyone's
Sorry.
gonna watch this.
Yeah, no,
You could be-
to the 6 people watching, you're beautiful.
Like this,
You're
like this could have been maybe more organized than
I'm
the
so
bread
sorry
video.
you had to deal with 4 teenagers bullshit. I said it
You're
again,
not
I'm
allowed-
so sorry.
You can't say the no word.
Ah!
You're going to get demonetized.
Here, I'll make it even. Fuck.
No!
No! That just made it worse.
Do you know how many flags I'm gonna have to add now?
Oh no.
17.
You said pie's not patriotic, but what about like a flurry?
The McFlurry. What is patriotic about the McFlurry?
It's an American thing.
Diabetes?
No, it's just an American thing, I guess.
Say
Or you can put like a
Can
shotgun
you
wedding or something.
Nothing says that. Is that
Or
what
you
just
know
like
what
a
a shotgun
horse.
wedding is, though, right?
It's just a forced wedding.
Yeah.
Freedom. We're on image
Yeah.
21. This is now old enough to drink.
Yeah.
Actually, I raised that age. I believe.
Oh, alcohol. We're pretty into that.
Oh, you want to
Oh, yeah,
talk
we
about
haven't even had a
prohibition?
whiskey
Just said we're
rebellion.
underaged.
Okay, so, we know nothing about alcohol. We can all agree.
There is no
But-
alcohol.
So
Alcohol
when
doesn't exist.
America first formed, right, there was a bunch of drunk farmers, and
They
put this thing
really
called the
like
whiskey
being drunk
tax.
farmers.
Yeah, but they don't want to pay extra money to get drunk all the time, and probably beat their wives. So
Yeah.
you know, so they
Woohoo.
rebel.
Wow.
They actually rebel, right? They're like, you know, if we did it before, we'll do it again. And so they rebelled. And you know, George Washington went in with the troops. Like this is like a noise complaint, and then having like the National Guard or like the military show up, and the drunk farmers kind of like, okay, we're done. And yeah,
Ooh.
that was the Whiskey Rebellion.
It is almost the 4th of July, so. Leave out your cookies and ammunition for Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam like crawls into your window at night.
To like
It
any
checked
kids that are watching this.
He
Not
checks if
legal.
you've been a good little patriot.
He makes sure your American flag is positioned correctly.
If not, there will be hell to pay.
Yeah.
That's a flag. That's probably a flag.
We're gonna leave it. We'll accept that. I have a few more patriotic gifts. We
Yes.
got this one, which is
The
a
guy looks.
It's a really good guide. Yeah, this guy down here, he's very excited. Look at it. Look how happy he is.
He's having a great time.
Yeah, he's just, going crazy. So you should be really a bit more safe with that.
Imagine living in Britain where there's gun regulations and people are safe.
What?
Oop, that's a political statement. Nope, nope.
Nope,
that,
nope.
no, that is not.
Back
That's
that
not how Britain works.
Generalization.
Yeah.
Yo, we gotta put this one in. I
Yeah,
think you
but
guys know the
Britain
one
has
I'm
the most
talking about.
stabbings in the world.
Is it the one that I'm thinking about?
It might be the one that you're thinking about.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh my god, it is the one I'm thinking about.
You know what? We're gonna make this guy duel.
They
Oh
love
my
each
God.
other, but their parents don't allow it.
They're opening,
Romeo and Juliet?
but they open fire on each other.
That's how much
It's,
they
it's a
love each
form of
other.
it's a form of affection.
Yeah.
Flip vertical. Wait, no, I clicked off and I have to click back 5,000 times. This is getting a little crazy, huh?
You're just now figuring that out.
Now they're fighting.
Romeo and Juliet go through a messy divorce.
Okay, let's sum it up with like the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Sports ball.
They
I'm not gonna lie, controversial opinion. Football's not that interesting.
It's
Ooh.
really not.
Well, sports in general isn't really interesting, in my
there's
opinion.
some good sports.
When?
I mean, if you like sports, good on you.
Yeah.
But I don't really care for them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
I
rather
don't
play them than
like-
watch them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't
Well,
want to watch a bunch of guys.
but then you
kicking
but
a
then you
ball.
realize you're unfit and you can't really run anymore, and you kind of just like look back on your soccer career and you're like,
Whoops.
Wait, are you talking about you or me?
oh yeah, sorry, that was my inner monologue.
Okay.
Oh boy, it's terrible. It's awful. It's the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
What is?
I think you can guess what it is.
Oh no, I don't want to look. Oh my God,
Ugh.
beautiful.
So, let's just summarize. Okay, there's like elections, I think. We have those, right?
So we have like the weirdest and most corrupt way of getting elections done. So it turns out, the popular vote doesn't actually matter at all.
It's the
Yes.
Electoral College.
It's the Electoral
Whoa.
College. And then, so it's by
I love
district
the
based,
alternative
right?
choice.
So then there's like districts, and you have to draw like a county or a district. And you should look up jank districts. It's like, there's like one, right? And I think it's like in Dakota that like juts out
Now
And,
that's
like,
good.
just to get insane. Here,
That's-
can you
that's
find some of
good.
those? Find some of those and like put them on.
How do I save this video? I want to. I feel like we've got a pretty good, freedom going on here, right?
You need to find that like one video where it's like America, frick yeah.
No, that's got mean words. We're not allowed to put that one in.
Well, you could put it as a gift.
Off topic.
Okay, so the way these guys are lying about the elections, by the way it works is the Freedom Eagle comes and personally asks every American citizen who they want to be president.
And they can vote for themselves.
Yeah, so everyone just votes for themselves, and then the Freedom Eagle becomes president every year.
I bet that's what John Jay did when he
Yeah.
only got one vote. Or
Yo,
whatever.
let's talk about my joy, John
John
Jay.
Jay. John Jay for president.
Yeah, honestly, the best candidate I think we've ever had. Nobody even comes close to him, right? He got like what? Every electoral vote, twice?
Yeah. Wait, hold up.
He won the Super Bowl single-handedly.
He also ended racism.
I think he owned slaves.
Oh no.
We don't talk about it.
Let's see. He also, basically the coolest guy ever.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool dude.
John Deere
Pretty
Francis.
rad.
You got one electoral vote.
It was just from his friends, too. Let's see, when you Google gun GIF, there's a lot of, like, anime girls with rifles.
They're
Some are
beautiful.
rifles.
Let's see here, I think we've attained maximum freedom, really. Ooh. There's a lot of good stuff, though. Freedom. Freedom. America.
More freedom.
These are all things that I think about. AmeriFreedom.
Merit freedom?
Freedom of speech.
Land of the free.
Ooh, that's a
Home
good
of
one.
the brave.
We're not very brave.
That's fair.
You want to talk about how we were just like, hey, we have a nuclear bomb, and we are like, I kind of want to use it.
And then we did.
Yeah.
Thanks, Harry Truman.
You're a cool
Okay.
person.
But I mean, it's a
No, he was a
double-edged
cool dude.
sword.
Yeah.
He kind of had to.
Yeah.
Kind of had to.
He had no other
Alright.
choice.
I'm a historian. I'm big into history, and
I couldn't tell.
Really.
sorry, I just kind of jumped the gun. I'm sorry if I jumped the
Really.
gun.
Name every year.
1, 2, 3.
Oh,
What
my
about the
OBS
negative
broke.
ones?
There's
So-
too much.
What about the negative years?
Ooh.
It's like the ones before that guy. His name was like
Oh, yeah, that
Christopher,
one
Jesus
guy.
Christopher or something.
Jesus Christopher
Jesus.
Reese.
He was
The
a
big
total
J.
dude, bro. I bet Jesus totally would have been a dude, bro.
Thank you for your opinion.
Jesus was a
Dude, bro.
Chad.
Okay, we gotta
No,
wrap
he was
this
a
up,
dude,
guys.
bro.
So let's see.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. I love how we were
haven't
on
actually ranked
topic.
anything.
Yeah, we did no ranking. We were nearly on topic for maybe a quarter.
yeah.
Anyway, Cameron,
This is
talk
just
about
something you
cars.
Anyways, Harriet Tubman, like,
Thanks.
J tier.
Is that highest or lowest?
J
You want
tier,
to get-
idiot.
Who wants to hear my controversy about the Sherman tank? Okay.
Way to kill the mood. Everything's going fine until you bring up the Sherman.
The Sherman was a decent tank. Don't get me
Sherman,
wrong.
William Tecumseh?
No, they named it after.
Did he personally pilot every single one?
Oh, well, how could you tell?
He's just that kind of guy, you know?
It's
Oh yeah,
just
we
that
also
kinda
have a $2 bill. It's not very
I have
useful.
like, I have,
guy. I
like
have
three
one.
of those.
Where is it?
That's $6.
Whoa, math is fun.
Okay, well, here's something interesting. I have a silver note. And that was back when we used silver and we got off the gold standard.
Oh yeah?
Also,
I
when we
have
entered
a
an
note.
economic depression. So, maybe we should have stayed on the gold.
Who wants to talk about the 1970 oil crisis?
Yay!
Yay, Desert
55
Storm.
miles an hour.
Yay.
They brought us
Desert
the Ford
Storm.
Pinto.
I like how some of us all had like a little bit of enthusiasm, and then there was Cameron.
It's foreign. Okay, generalize. There's this guy. We don't like him. We kind of just go in and we roll over him because we have the best tank in the world. Boring. It's not fun.
I don't think warfare is supposed to be fun.
Although I will admit the Iraqi-Iran war. That was pretty interesting. Modern World War One, but we won't go.
Vietnam.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Got a bunch of rice farmers to war crime.
We saved them
Ooh.
by throwing firebombs at them.
Can we talk about the Crimea War?
No.
Wait. Hold up, the Crimea? You mean the
The one
1864?
with the one with Mary Seacole.
You mean between the Russians, the British, the French, and the Ottomans?
What does this have to do with the United States? This isn't freedom. Get out.
Nothing. It has nothing to do with.
It's not about freedom. I'm ending the video if you do not get back into the United States in 15, 14, 13,
France.
12, 11,
He's going to
10.
do it.
9,
Great
8,
Britain.
7, 6, 5,
Austria.
4, 3,
Germany.
2, 1.
Colorado.
You have failed.